fastest show in sports.
The Michigan Wolverines athletic department is one spark shy of a dumpster fire. And while plenty of people who are fans of the Wolverines are just going to excoriate me for this, it's what's happening. You need to pay attention and open your eyes. Because whether you're a fan, a big supporter, a booster, somebody who throws $1 or $100 million into this program, you got to start asking questions. Because we're not just talking about one incident. What happened with Sherrone Moore is just that one incident, which we'll get to in just a minute. But we have to look at what's happening here, the things that have been happening for 3 years with this program, and it's teetering right on the edge of something happening that could be completely disastrous. And you don't deserve that. As fans and supporters, you don't. But somebody in that athletic department has been covering up, and you got to pay attention to it right now. I mean, look, the football program was punished for a sign-stealing scandal and also recruiting violations. That's happening to a lot of places around college football right now, but forget that. Just look at Michigan right now for where it's happening. The men's hockey coach was found to have created a toxic environment. A football co-offensive coordinator was fired and then federally indicted for stealing intimate photos of female athletes. And let's not forget the men's basketball coach faced a Title IX complaint and was investigated for getting into an altercation with a staff member. That's just the last 3 years. So don't sit there and tell me that everything's hunky-dory and everything's fine at Michigan, because there's a seething problem underneath the surface, and it's got to be addressed. Let's go ahead and take Sherrone Moore, for instance, all right? Now, to many people, this is just a lover's tryst. Bullshit. This is a whole lot more. Because here's a guy who's a husband and father who spends time on social media, who talks about what a wonderful wife and a wonderful family he has, and he's screwing around on the side. Wouldn't be the first one to do it. But this is a guy who's the head football coach at the University of Michigan, and he's screwing around with a member of the staff. You're going to tell me that nobody knew this? See, that's the big question that everybody has got to start getting to here. What did they know? When did they know it? And why did they do nothing about it? Don't tell me for 1 second, 1 instant, that Moore wasn't screwing around, screwing maybe, who knows what it is at this point, but basically cheating on his wife, breaking the rules of the university, and nobody knew. Don't tell me that. Again, that is the highest level of bullshit you could possibly get into here. What goes on at a university with coaches, with players, with staff? Everybody knows. It's not as if it's all of a sudden just one person who knows. If the coach is involved, an assistant coach knows, a trainer knows, a player knows, somebody knows. Everybody talks in an instance like this. So that means that while Moore was breaking the rules, both of the university and of his marriage vows, somebody up top in the athletic department knew about this, and they covered it up. They didn't want anybody to know about it for fear that it would turn ugly. Well, guess what? It did. Because Moore is apparently, sure looks to me like he's mentally unhinged. Because here's a guy who stalks this woman, goes to her apartment, basically grabs a couple of kitchen knives, and decides and announces to her that he's going to kill himself in front of her because she's ruined his life. No, she didn't ruin your life. You ruined your life. You ruined it. You took everything away from yourself because you couldn't keep it in your pants. That's the biggest problem. But then the other problem is the university covered it up. They couldn't cover it up this time when the cops got involved. Now, I've worked at a lot of universities and with a lot of universities where football programs, basketball programs have been able to work with police departments and cover up all this little shit that goes on here and there. If I could tell you the stories of it, I'd have a lot of people on my ass saying you weren't supposed to tell those stories, but it happens. It happens at every single big university. Hell, I can tell you the story about a head football coach that was drunk so many times driving between his office and his home that the cops basically had to go to the university and say, what do you want us to do here? We keep finding this guy. He's drunk. He's driving while drunk. He's intoxicated. What do you want us to do? They made it go away. And that's what happened here at Michigan. Don't stand for this. Don't allow this to happen. Because if they're covering this up, what else are they covering up? And again, I'm going to say this, because while I've got Michigan fans who undoubtedly are just going to get all over me on this, I'm going to get, and the last time I said something like this, I got all kinds of threatening notes, and I'm probably going to get it again. I'm on your side. I didn't go to Michigan. I'm not an Ohio State fan. I'm not an Ohio State grad, but I'm on your side. I'm on the side of the fans here in this one, because you put your money and your time and your effort, your passion into being a fan of a school, of a program, of a team. You deserve that program and that team to treat you right, to do right by you, to not break the rules, to do it up and up, to make sure that you're not involved in recruiting violations, to make sure you're not involved in sign stealing. And again, let's go back to those issues here. Look, don't tell me again that nobody knew. They're stealing signs that mean there were several people involved. They all knew about it, and I guarantee you, it went up the chain to somebody in the athletic department. The recruiting violations, this happens all the time. But when it gets to be egregious like this, you've got to have somebody step in and say no. Somebody at the Michigan Athletic Department, the president's office, somebody, grow a pair of balls, will you? Get involved here. Stop this from happening. Clean out the program. You didn't clean out Sherrone Moore when you knew something was going on, and then it exploded in your face. And now you're stuck. Now you're sitting here in December. You don't know who your coach is going to be for next year. A lot of the main coaches that you wanted are gone, and a lot of them right now are saying no. Trust me when I tell you that the stakes are so high for the coaches themselves. Many of them don't want to get involved in the nonsense. They don't want to be in a program where they're going to have to fear for their careers. That's what's happened here. When you get involved at Michigan right now, there is a track record over the last 3 years of things going wrong, of people looking the other way, of rules being broken. Now, you get a lot of coaches who come in and say, I'm not going to break the rules. Everybody breaks or bends the rules sooner or later. They're going to get caught. They don't want to take a chance because already Michigan has brought undue attention onto itself by the NCAA, by a law firm that they've hired to look into the university right now to find out what else is going on, by everybody who's watching. They've opened the door. They've opened Pandora's box. And a lot of coaches don't want to get involved in that because this is their one shot. Sherrone Moore didn't care. Sherrone Moore basically tanked himself. But the problem with it is it comes back on the university. Do you realize that they had a coach who was involved in helping to run the football program, in dealing with the young men of the program, who later on decided that he was going to kill himself in front of his cheating girlfriend because she ruined his life? You want this guy involved with your students? Do you want other coaches involved? Do you want a guy involved who gets federally indicted for stealing intimate photos of female athletes? Is this what you want in Michigan? No, you don't. Think twice here. Stop. I'm not denigrating Michigan. I'm not saying that that the fans are the problem here. Sure, fans go off the deep end all the time, and they all get upset and they all get excited. That's okay. It's part of the game. I get it. I've been around long enough to know that. But you as the fans need to stand up, tell them to stop the nonsense, clean out this program, make it something that you can be proud of, because here's the thing. This isn't going away. When you have a tendency to see that a university breaks the rules, that a company breaks the rules, that anybody does, it draws attention. The government gets involved, police get involved, feds get involved, the NCAA gets involved. Everybody else gets involved. And that means that your program is going to suffer again. And I'll tell you what, I got a social media post from somebody on one of my videos that talked about how, leave us alone in Michigan, we're just fine. We win championships all the time. Look at what we've got. And listing this and listing that and doing this and doing that and telling me basically that I'm full of shit because I don't know how well they're doing at Michigan. I'm not denigrating your championships, your titles, anything that you've had. Go for it. Fine. But don't be so blind as to think that everything's fine, everything's good, because it's not. Somebody's cheating up top in the athletic department. Somebody's not paying attention. Maybe more than one. Maybe the athletic director, maybe the school president, maybe somebody else, maybe lots of other people. They know this stuff is going on, and they're not doing anything to stop it. So it's up to you, as the fans, as the supporters, as the boosters, the people who drop millions of dollars into the University of Michigan athletic program, have got to call somebody, go for a meeting and say, it stops now. You want my money? You're going to clean this up. Because otherwise, every time something happens, you bring disrepute to me and my organization, to the school, to everybody here, all because you screwed up. So you're the ones that have got to stand up. You're the ones that have got to make the difference. You're the ones, not just, and even the media is involved. The media involved who covers Michigan, stop kissing their ass. I can look in the eyes of the people who cover the Michigan athletic program, and I know right now, it doesn't make a difference whether you're newspaper, whether you're podcast, whether you're TV, whether you're radio. Some of you know what goes on at that university. Because when you cover a program, an organization, on an every single day basis, you know the nonsense that goes on. You hear it all the time. So you know what's happening. Don't just sit there and let it go by. Because I know what happens here. Look, I'm guilty of it way in my past as well. Knowing all the nonsense that's going on, the rule breaking that's going on, even the illegalities that are going on. And I didn't say anything. And I was told from a university that I covered by a member of the athletic department, Ed, if you say anything, you'll never attend another game. We'll take away your press pass. We'll blackball you. You'll never work here again. And guess what? I got to work with them because that's my job in the local media. And if I can't cover them, I'm going to lose my gig. But it's up to you. You in the press. You've got to say something. Dig. Find the stories. Find out who's letting this go. Find out who's turning the other cheek. Find out who's not getting involved. Find out who's not keeping the rules. Expose them. Do it. Take the chance. That's what you're there for. And I know a lot of the podcasters won't do it because you're not journalists. You're just nickel and dimers who hang out and throw out a podcast here. I've been doing this for over 30 years. You've been doing this for about 30 minutes. I also know that there's people involved in different websites and all of these various sites that claim to cover college football. Most of them are graduate assistants or even guys and gals who are still in school, who are their beat reporters. They're not going to say anything because they don't want to screw up their friends. They don't want to screw up the program. They don't want to lose their valued press pass. They don't want to lose their opportunity to go ahead and do something for clicks. They're not the ones. The real, serious media, the press in Detroit, in Ann Arbor, dig it. Get into it. Stop it from happening. It's got to stop somewhere. Michigan got a proud athletic program. Absolutely needs to be proud of it. And not just in football, but in other sports as well. Make sure it stays. Don't put up with the bullshit, and don't let them get away with turning Michigan into the next collegiate athletic dumpster fire.
Ed Berliner, the fastest show in sports.